Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get started with the Illustrator Freestyle Challenge. Okay, if you see red text, that means stop and take notes on binder paper, and don't lose it because we're going to save this for quite a long time before we turn in all our notes together. Green text means go. Hit pause on the video, and it's time to do something. Alright, so this is day 1, and here's what we're going to learn how to do. So read through that if you need to, and look at the assignment instructions and write down an intelligent question in your notes. So basically what I'm telling you to do is go to my website, go to Creative Computer, go to Vector. Now this might be different by the time you watch this video, but it should look something like this, and we're going to do the Freestyle Challenge. If you click there, it'll get you to this page. If you click here, it's going to get you to a couple documents. And if you click on the second one, it's going to get you to the, oh, there we go. If you click on this one, it's going to get you to the grade scale. So make sure you read through this to see what the expectations are. And again, this might change since the video. I always tune these up every year, but take a look at that and see what we're doing and write down a question about the assignment. Okay? Okay. What is Illustrator? Illustrator is a professional grade vector-based illustration application that does not use pixels but instead uses math formulas. This is in red, so make sure you're writing this down. It does not lose quality or pixelate. So let's look at an example of what it is not. So Photoshop is what it is not. So let's look at Photoshop. Photoshop is raster-based, whereas Illustrator is vector-based. Okay, so we have a picture that looks just fine, right? And we go to our zoom in tool and we zoom in and zoom. Ooh, guess what it turns into? Pixels. So this is a raster picture. It's a picture that's made up of a bunch of squares, and if it gets too big, it looks terrible. You would not want to blow this picture up to the size of a billboard. Same thing. This looks even better. This looks fine. That's a nice drawing. Same thing. If you get it too big, you can see the pixels. Now, let's close this down real quick. Okay, so now we're going to go to Illustrator, which is we're going to go to Illustrator, which is vector, and let's take a look at Illustrator. So if I go to Illustrator, let's see what happens. It does not lose quality or pixelate. It's not based on little squares. It's based on mathematical formulas, and mathematical formulas will scale up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go File. For you guys, you're going to go File, New. I've already done this. And we're going to create a document. Let's see if it'll do it soon. Okay, and so this is 8.5 by 11. It matters because this one we may want to print, and so 8.5 by 11 is standard paper size, and so I'm going to click OK, and then I'll show you how to save it later. But let's do it like a little drawing. So I'm going to draw with the paintbrush tool. We'll do a little thing there, right? We'll draw that. Now on this, we'll get this one will look bigger, and no matter how big we get it, it never pixelates because it's not based on squares. It's based on a mathematical formula that makes this curved. So we could make this the size of a billboard, and it would look beautiful. Okay. All right. And if you're wondering why I'm talking so fast, it's because high school students lose attention pretty quick, so I have to talk fast. All right. Illustrator's expensive. There are free ones that you can play with too. There's one called Inkscape that's on this computer, and if you download Inkscape at home and take a screenshot and show it to me on your cell phone or somehow, I will give you bonus points. So Inkscape works very much like Illustrator, except for it's free. Okay. Okay. Open Illustrator and save it. All right. So make a new folder called Creative Computers. Make a new folder called Illustrator and save it. So we've already made it 8.5 by 11. So what we need to do is this. So you're going to go File. You're going to go Save As, and you're going to save it in your folder with your name on it in a new folder called Creative Computers. Okay. So you're going to go to Computer. You're going to go to your folder with your name on it. So I'm going to go to my folder with my name on it. Okay, you're going to make a new folder called, so it looks different, but you create a new folder and you're going to call it Creative Computer. And you're going to make another new folder called Illustrator. And you're going to make another new folder called Freestyle Challenge, and then you're going to save your document as Freestyle Challenge with your name on it. Okay, but I already have, so I'm going to hit cancel, you hit save. Alright, let's go back to the slideshow here. Okay, the pencil tool is easier for drawing and editing freeform lines. Write this down and then hit pause. Okay, change the workspace to painting. Okay, so we're going to go to here, and you can go to Window, Workspace, and you can change it to painting or like Photoshop, whatever you want to do. Let's go to painting. It says to do that. Okay, so the pencil tool is supposed to be easy to do freeform lines. So you go to the pencil tool and you can make freeform lines. Okay, and I can change the color too. If I go, I don't like this view. Why did I go to this view? I'm going to go Window, Workspace, like Photoshop. I like this a lot better. Okay, so I can go to the stroke color and I can change it to whatever I want, and I can also go to the thickness of it and I can make it a lot thicker. Okay, so I just changed the stroke weight and color. Okay, but we'll get to that later. Okay, stroke is the line color, stroke weight is the line thickness. An open path begins and ends at different spots. A closed path is a shape that begins and ends at the same spot. So let's take a look at what that means. Okay, so if we go to the pencil tool, this is an open path. Okay, this right here, if I go all the way to the end, is a closed path. Okay, it's better to have a closed path because that is how you color things in Illustrator. You go to the fill color, and then we change the fill color to whatever we want it to be. It's kind of awkward if you try to do it on this. If you try to fill this in with color, it's kind of awkward because it just goes straight down like that. So you want to have these things that are closed paths for the most part, okay? And again, this is the stroke color and weight, and this is the fill color. Okay, draw something with the pencil tool and create a simple curves using the pencil tool, stroke with color, and change the stroke weight. So you're supposed to, the challenge of this project is you're going to draw something that exists in the real world that I can recognize. So draw some stuff with the pencil tool. Okay, the pen tool is easier for drawing more precisely. Okay, it creates a Bezier curve. A Bezier curve is a curve, I'm sorry, not a Bezier. Bezier curve is a curve in a vector-based illustration program that has control points. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And so we're going to make a new layer. A new layer is like a sheet of plastic. So I can turn the old layer on and off. It's like removing a sheet of plastic with my art on it. So I'm going to go to the pen tool, and I start off with an anchor point, and I can draw my handle, and then I have another anchor point, and I draw my handle, and another anchor point. Okay, and again, I have an open path, and now I'm going to create a closed path. All right, so the pen tool is tricky, but the nice thing about the pen tool is you can draw things very precise. Okay, so if I want a perfect circle, I can, well, I don't know if I can do a perfect circle, but I can do a pretty decent circle. All right, and the nice thing about this is I can go to the direct selection tool, and I can adjust the anchors, and I can adjust the handles. So I can make these curves perfectly editable. Okay, so we have the anchor point, we have the handle, and we have the direction line. Okay, create straight lines. Oh, you know what I didn't show you? You can also make nice straight lines with this. So whenever you're working with the pen tool, you can click and click and click and click and click and click and make nice straight lines. Okay, or if you click and drag, you can make curves. Okay, by the way, no, we'll talk about that later. All right, let's go back. Okay, so create straight lines. You were supposed to do this as in green. Create accurate curves with the pen tool. So use the pen tool in your drawing. Okay, what can you do with the direct selection tool? You can select and edit individual points in an object. I already showed you that. But you can go to this thing called the direct. If I go to the selection tool, I select whole paths. Okay, if I go to the direct selection tool and I click off and click on, I can drag handles, and I can drag, not handles, anchor points, and then I can also drag handles. Okay, so if I go to my slideshow, what can you do with the direct selection tool? The answer is you can select and edit individual points and objects. Write that down. Draw with paintbrush. Let's go to here we can go to the paintbrush tool, and then we can go to our brush. Where are my brushes at? I gotta find them. Oh, there it is. Brush. If you can't find the brushes, you can go Window and go to Brush, and you can turn that on and off. Window, Brush, you turn it on. Alright, so you can choose a brush, and then I change that, and now I can use the paintbrush here as well, and you can see that it kind of smooths my curves out for me. And there, if you click on this thing, you can go to a whole big thing of brushes, okay? Alright, the challenge. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw something that looks really beautiful, that exists in the real world, and then we're going to vote. So at the end of this challenge, you're going to vote for 2 of your favorite ones. You can't vote for your own. You can't vote for the same one twice. The drawing with most votes wins, and make sure that in order to get points, you have to turn this AI file into my Google Classroom. Turn in the grade scale with it, and there's a separate video for that. So when you're ready to turn this in to get your points, watch the video. And here's a quiz. Answer these questions, and remember, these notes are worth a lot of points, so make sure that you save them in your binder in a special section just for this class, because we're going to turn them all in at once.